Dennis Jenkins of Dynamic Dads. I want to come on and thank you today for listening to another episode of our podcast, The Trauma in the House. Today we have a special guest come on. His name is Thomas Murphy, who is an educator. Thomas Murphy grew up in Mansfield, Ohio. He has a bachelor's degree, a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice and Criminology, with a minor in Political Science, MBA with concentration in International Finance. He's a founder and CEO of In the Spirit of Ujima Incorporated, a nonprofit 501c3 organization that provides an advocacy, intervention, prevention, and awareness program for Black boys. So today, Thomas Murphy will be our guest, along with Anderson Miles, my co-host. We will come on today and we talk about the education and the miseducation of our Black boys. We talk about various topics dealing with how our young boys have been mistreated, mishandled, misunderstood when it comes to our education system, and how he has put together a program that would help our young boys in the school system of under being culturally biased, help them to understand the culture of who they are, to recognize their potentials. A lot of times our school system is not designed or not adequately preparing our young men for the future, let alone giving them a sense of pride in who they are. So Thomas Murphy has put together a program called Ujima that helps the young men recognize who they are without going to the lengths of taking away what they can be, without changing their structure. He has designed a program that will help build them up in such a way that they will stand straight up and walk with their chest out and be prideful of who they are in their culture. So today he will come on today and we will talk about these topics and I'm sure many more. As you had read, as I read in his bio, he is a man that has great education in criminal justice and criminology. So we will talk about some of those things and how they relate to our educational system. And when we talk about the schools to the pipeline, schools to prison pipeline, we will touch on those different topics. But once again, I just want to thank you again for supporting Dynamic Dads. You can continue to do that by going to my website, dynamicdad.org, hit the subscribe button, and register for Dynamic Dads. As you go through the questionnaire, there's various topics that you can let us know how you want to be involved with Dynamic Dads. If you want to be involved with the reading club, you want to be a volunteer, it's okay. You want to be a member. If you want to be on the leadership team, if there's something that you want to just comment about that you saw on our podcast or on a website, on YouTube, just say check it out. Check those things out. Let me know. Give me a comment. Give me your feedback. Once again, Dynamic Dad is still looking for men to join our Let's Read book club. Yes, we're looking for men to sign up for Let's Read book club. I'm calling all dads to the stage. Reading is very important. I can't stress it enough. It's a very important part of a child's development. And so I need you dads. So fathers are also fundamental for development. So why not bring two of these important things together? So Dynamic Dad is looking for wonderful fathers to join, wonderful men to join our influential reading program dedicated to the little ones. It's called Dynamic Dads Let's Read Book Club. So once again, go to my webpage, dynamicdad.org, and hit the subscribe button, give me some information on you, and then we will, gather that information and we will contact you and we will let you know just how to get started on that, giving you, information for some books that we have that you can read on a 5-minute to 10-minute video that you submit to Dynamic Dads. Listen, I can't stress it enough. It's very important that we change these numbers in illiteracy in America. 1 in 4 kids grow up in America and not learn how to read. We have to change those numbers because if they don't learn how to read, they end up going on the streets to try to survive, and because they can't fill out a job application, they can't understand the technology that we're going through, the changes, and so their life is set up in such a way that they end up going to jail. By fourth grade, they're designed to go to jail. They're looking at testing scores, and they're looking at they're planning for our children. I say our children, say people of color, where they will end up. And so with your help, we can change that narrative by helping a child to read. By reading to a child, it is very important that for the development of a child, that they have interaction with a male in their development stage of early ages. And a lot of our kids are not getting that. A lot of our people, our young people of color, excuse me for my stutter, are not getting this development because their fathers are not there. And for those fathers who are there, we commend you, because the numbers that we're seeing in the media, that's not all true. There are a lot of fathers who are involved in the child's life, especially black fathers. And so they continue to perpetrate the numbers and say that the black father is not involved. That is not so. That is not so. But we still need more fathers to be involved. And I'm going to advocate for both, because fathers are important in the child's development. So once again, like always before, Dynamic Dad's positive an attitude, full of energy and new ideas. And we're going to have a good time today. We're going to talk about some very interesting topics, and I hope that you enjoy everything that's going on with Dynamic Dads. And if you have any suggestions or you want to leave a comment, check me out on Facebook, check me out on IG, hit me up on YouTube, and we also have upcoming magazine. Yeah, we're working on starting up a magazine soon, and so even with that, I just ask you to support us any way you possibly can. If you want to donate, go to my page, hit the donate button. And anything that you donate to us is truly a help. So I thank you for your just listening. That's helpful. That's helpful. But leave me some comments. Let us know how you feel about the podcast that you heard so far, or just things you've seen on my IG. Leave me some comments. Go on IG, leave some comments. If you like my dad jokes, if you like the different messages that we saw, we talk about eating healthy on there. We partner up with Dynamic Dad, where we partner up with Super Dad, who is in Tampa, Florida, and he's doing some great things. He's got a march coming up, a virtual march that he will be going from Tampa Bay, or possibly starting in Detroit, or in Michigan. I'm sorry, where he will hit all 50 states. He's going to walk across America, march across America. And so here's a lot of things he's doing, and we will, post it up on our website and also on our other social media sites so that you can keep up with that. We're also partnering with Delilah Fitness and Body Culinary, who is down in Belize, and they have a lot of great things going on, teaching you how to eat right, live right, and take care of your body in a very helpful manner. So I just ask that you continue to follow us, support us. Dynamic Dad is on the move for some great things. We're out here with Warrior IT, who is teaching young men, Native Americans, and people of color, veterans and ex-offenders, how to do coding, how to break down a computer and rebuild a computer. So we're partnering up them out here in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. So we got some great partnership. The Flex Dad, the Fit Dad. We partner with a lot of great organizations to help advocate for fathers and families. So we just ask that you continue to support us. Once again, go to my website, dynamicdad.org. I can't express it enough. You see my tagline back here, Dynamic Dad. So, hey, continue to support Dynamic Dad any way you possibly can. If you want to be a guest on my show, hit me up in my inbox on Facebook, my website, IG. Let me know. Let's talk. Let's talk. Every day, about the trauma in the house. We got trauma in every area of our life. I just want to share something with you. Right now, I'm in Arizona, and our numbers are getting crazy. They're out. They're shut down again for another 30 days. And so, at my job, I just found out there's something. There's people that have the COVID, and so I was tested. That test is no joke, man. That test is for real. They put this swab all the way back in your nose and push as far as they can and hold it for 10 seconds. And you're still trying not to, you're trying to breathe at the same time, and you're dealing with this pain, somebody pushing this swab to the back of your nose. Hey, this pandemic is no joke, man. We got to take this thing seriously. Wear your mask, when you're in a population more than one. When you go out in the streets, wear your gloves. Wash your hands as often as possible. Be conscious of where you're at and who you're around. Respect others, respect yourself. Most importantly, as a people, we need to come together more now than ever. We have a lot of things going on, and so racial divide is real. We've dealt with that since 1800s, and it hasn't changed much. We're still going through this cultural thing. And it's more or less a clash of classes, sort of say, the haves and the have-nots. Basically, all it boils down to. People trying to control another people. They have the money and we don't, and they want to continue to control us. And so people of color are the ones that are getting the most, because I don't know if you really understand this, but I could change me as a man, me as a black man, if I was to get involved with someone other race of a culture, sort of say, and I have intimacy with that woman, I can change everything. They're no longer European, they're African. They're no longer Italian, they're African. And so a lot of people are scared of that. They're scared of that. I mean, they don't want that to happen. And so that's the number one cause that the black man has been attacked for so many years, because he has the power to change not just your mindset, and not just the way you talk, not just the way you dress, but we have the mind, we have the power within us to change the DNA structure of an individual, of a culture, of a so-called race, European race or the Italian race, whatever you want to call it. We have that ability inside of us, and that is something that is very scary to others. That is something that is very real to others, and that is something that is very dangerous, because you see the minority race is becoming what they consider the minority, or considered to be by 2030 they will be the minority. And so they are not, um, they're not like that. They're not like that. On this show, I'm not here to address any racism, form of racism, in a manner that I feel as I'm superior to anybody else. It's not going to correct anything. I'm just here to point it out and address it and deal with the racism that black people or people of color have experienced in this country, that we were kidnapped. Understand that. We weren't brought here we didn't come here on no vacation and decide we wanted to stay. We were kidnapped. Yeah, my ancestors were kidnapped. So when I hear people on the streets talking about, my grandmother or my great granddaddy or something like that came to America and they started for nothing, and they rose to this great power, and they got these riches and they worked hard for what they got, makes me sad. Makes me sad, makes me angry. Because I think about my people, my ancestors that came here, and they were in chains and shackles. Some never made it. Some died along the journey. Some of my family members were separated along the journey, but they were forced here. They were forced to come to America. They were slaves, treated as property. So I can't tell that story that in 1860 something or 19 something, my parent, no, can't say that story. And that makes me angry. And when I hear others say that, they say it so pridefully, with such pride. And me, I had to tell the story about my parents or my ancestors being drugged over here, forced over here, kidnapped, and killed, and tortured to help build America. It makes me very upset. But nevertheless, it has made me stronger. So that's why Dynamic Dad exists, because I know how important it is to keep the families together. We've been torn apart, we've been tortured, we've been brainwashed for too many years, and then because of that, our families have struggled. We have struggled, and so it's a lot of trauma that has happened to us through time. The Civil War, Civil Rights movement, and Vietnam, and, different governments with the war on drugs and the drugs and crack cocaine in our neighborhoods. And so it's hurt us very much. It's torn us apart. But we still, nevertheless, are resilient people. and we continue to rise. So today, as I'm not going to be on a rant, I'm just want to let you know that Dynamic Dad is on the move, and we are here to advocate for fathers and families. You know, once more importantly, we're here to empower, elevate, and encourage fathers to be dynamic, to give them the resources they might need to be engaged in their child's life. We have a diploma program that we're working with in Chicago to get young men their diplomas. So when they come out of prison, they have their diplomas. And so that is a program that we're working on right now. We've got four or five men right now that are enrolled in that program. And so we're working very hard to get them their diplomas. And not only them, but many others to come. So we have a lot of great work. We have a lot of work to do. And Dynamic Dad is on the front line. We out there on the battlefield right now. And we're teaming with a lot of great people, like I said before, to help us out. And we help them out. So once again, I have a guest come on, Thomas Murphy. He's going to be, very instrumental in helping us go international with this program. He's going to talk more about that when he comes on today. So continue to support us, man. We need your help. We need your help. Dynamic Dad, Let's Read Book Club. Go to my website, dynamicdad.org. Hit the subscribe button. Let us know how you can be a part of that. And so I'm just thankful, man. I'm just thankful for everything that's going on. Your support is needed. All right. So Dynamic Dad, we're going to take a quick commercial break here because soon I will be sponsoring a Blink Styles boutique. She will be coming on and sharing with you the beautiful creations. So we're going to take a quick intermission break right now while I get some things together, and I do appreciate you for supporting Dynamic Dad. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hey, those Dynamic Dads, positive attitude, full of energy, new ideas. Brother Murphy, how you doing there, sir?
Hey, brother. Man, I'm trying to get set up, man. I tell you.
Take your time, brother. Let me
bear with it, brother, man. I mean, being a father is the best job and the hardest job in America, man. So I'm excited about it, man. Good to see you. Look at you, brother. I see you.
Hey, I'm about to set us up on Facebook Live right now, so get yourself settled in.
Okay.
We're gonna get right back in. I'm gonna share it on some pages. I'm gonna share it on through my phone as well.
Because give me the opportunity where I can share it too on mine. And
yeah, I'm gonna share it on my phone. That way you can catch it up on there.
All right. My phone go.
Okay, brother. Give me a little bit right here, and then put the title in here. Trauma in the house is my tagline here, people. I know you see it. When we talk about trauma, it's because that's what we deal with every day. You may want to ignore it, but it's there. Trauma in the house. We're going to talk about it from an educational standpoint.
Yes.
What are our young men dealing with every single day? They traumatized from why they ain't learning, why they ain't achieving. They traumatized. So we got Thomas Murphy who's going to come in today, and he's going to talk about that. He's going to talk about the spirit of Ujima, something that we need all across America, not only across America, but international. And it's going to happen. So he's talking about that today.
Amen.
So as we get set up here, Thomas Murphy, welcome my brother. Come on in. I have another of my guests, co-host Josephine Jackson, will be coming visit us shortly.
Thank you.
She is with Manage the Moms, and she's talks about the gatekeepers and how positive. We need to change the narrative of gatekeepers from negative to positive about young women or women in general who are mothers that have went through a bad relationship with their fathers, with the kids' fathers, and now have been maybe bitter or using that child as leverage in a negative manner. And
wow.
So change that narrative that these kids not used as pawns to get the relationship back with that young man, are using this to get back at him in general, and causing this child to have bad interactions with the father, or also causing this man to put himself in jeopardy of being on probation or going back to jail or going to jail, period, because he has violated his rights as a parent. And so we want to help those young men. If they need legal services, we will help provide that for them so they can have parenting rights, because as we all both know, Brother Murphy, it's very important for a child's development that the father is involved in that child's life. And we can't
most definitely.
We can't stress that enough. I mean, some women out there might think that it's not needed because he wasn't good to you. That doesn't mean he can't be good to his son or daughter. And so allow that child to have that choice at an early age. Don't deprive that child of those early ages of saying, you ain't gonna see your father, or you might see him every once a week. He ain't no good. He ain't paying the child support, so he don't need to see you. No. Don't let the system keep brainwashing you that way. And that's what we've been caught up in a system that tells us, because that man ain't paying his child support, he don't need to see his child. It's not all about the money. And we've been brainwashed, brainwashed to think that. And so we had to change that narrative.
Dang, Derek, you own it, man. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we've been oppressed for so long that we don't understand that we've been oppressed for so long, and the tricks of the enemy. We think they got our good, our life in their hands, and it's for our good. We've been oppressed as slaves for so long, and a slave master never had, you and his intentions of you being great. He never wants you to be greater than what he told you were. He never told you was great when he called you a nigga. That wasn't a term of endearment. And so we have to understand the tricks of the trade. And so, Thomas, I'm not trying to go too much on a rant on that. I'm just trying to get the people to understand.
Well, hey, man, you could probably talk all day, an hour for that, man. I would be under the tree and on the porch with you, man. So I know, sitting on the porch and being involved in those things, man. But it's definitely creates a real issue when it comes to the systemic things that our young brothers and young people are faced with every day with them lack of fathers.
Yeah.
Them lack of fathers, that just creates a way now, whether we don't want to be there, where mom creates a scenario where they ain't getting along, where it was just a jump off, where it was a one night stand, where romance and all of that falls into place, and where did it fall off? The deception is that there is going to be some repercussions that definitely comes and that would occur when it comes to that. So, young women are independent, and I love them when they say that, but they cannot raise the boys or the childs by themselves, boys or girls. I know that for a fact that they need them. With growing up in a family of 11 and in a household, and find out I got brothers and stuff. Now it's 13 of us. But listen, those are real issues that we could talk about. Barbershop style, round table, wrap around. We could have mad conversation in every section of the community, from the barbershop, to the basement. So I'm definitely hearing you. I know there's some things that we get caught into, and there is some avenues that we can break through. And so, that is that process. So you got to hear it from some first, got to hear it from some person, or one person or the other, somebody that you trust or you value. And that's what happens. How do we continue to break that process is where we should be at right now. What a great time to begin to do that right now.
Yeah, it's great, man. We've been traumatized in so many different ways, brother. And I don't want us to go too far left or too far right. I just want to stay focused, laser focused on what's
right.
Today, because
exactly. That's why I say I'm going to stop right there, brother.
Yeah, man. It's so much that we as a people have been traumatized with, man. Traumatized. Our young generation, they're at that point right now, so we're tired of talking, so they're going into action, but they're still traumatized while they're doing that, And so we were here to talk today about the trauma in the house, but most importantly, we want to talk about how it's going in the educational field. As I said earlier, Thomas Murphy is an educator. And so he has been doing some great things in the school systems of Cleveland, Ohio, and now he is located in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he's doing some great things down there as an educator. And
yes.
So today I want you to come on, brother. If you can give us just a short, introduce yourself, brother. If we can, just sort of, we're gonna back up a little bit. We're gonna get to the foundation of everything, because without that foundation, we cannot continue to be who we are. We're gonna give all honor and glory to the Most High. So can you sort of prayer, my brother? Because without him, we gotta acknowledge him and who we are and what we do.
Well, hey man, without a doubt, I would love that. I would honor that. That's my basis and my foundation are how the only ways that I'm able to move forward. So yes, if you would like me to pray, man, I will pray. Lord God, I thank you for this another day, Lord, that you've given us the opportunity to really kind of look into you, Lord, glean from you what you would have us to say in this discussion, Lord. You be in the midst, Lord. We ask you that any way possible, Lord, that you would be able to let the things that you have given us in our heart, that you begin to download in us, Lord, that it would be used and that it could be manifested for all the listeners and everybody that's out there in the media and social media platforms, that this program will be something that will be educational, will be informative. Lord, I thank you that you would bless this program, Lord, that it continue to be long-reaching and far-reaching to all of the ones that may be able to listen, that plugs in to the many opportunities throughout the day. And so I thank you for my brother, Dennis, Lord, for all that he's doing, Lord, the great work that he's bringing forth, and let it be a voice and a vehicle that would be for the glory and for the honor of you, Father. We thank you in this day and all that you ask, that we ask for you, Lord, that you continue to be in the midst, you continue to guide it, let your Holy Spirit continue to rain down on us, because without you, we are not able to do any of this work. So we thank you, Father, and I will continue to ask you to be the one that we will look to the hills which cometh all of our help, knowing that all our help comes from you. We ask you then that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart will be pleasing and acceptable in thy sight. It's in the mighty and matchless name of Jesus Christ I pray. Amen.
Amen, amen.
All right.
Brother, you sent me over some information about you. Before you got on, I read your bio, a very, great bio. I say, man, you've been out there doing some work, brother, in the community, man. So I thank you for being a warrior on the streets, man, for change. And so if you can, man, I might want to use some of those questions they asked you in that magazine article. Right now, we're in the process of Dynamic Dad Ministries for Moms of putting the magazine together ourselves. And so that's something we're trying to put together. Hopefully by August.
Well, there's an article ready for you.
Yeah, hopefully by August we have it up and running. And so we'll be out there, get people subscribed to that. So I want to start with the first question, man. It's not even the first question to ask you, but I want to ask you the foundation of everything. Why did you start teaching? Let's start off with that question first.
Again, I mean, I saw a need. It was kind of a positive migration into it as a young fella, little Tommy, man, growing up on Park Avenue and First Avenue in Mansfield. My grandmother sent me up to school the first day and told me to go up there and learn something and bring it back to her. Bring it back to her. Those were her words. And so I said, well, Granny, I'm gonna go up there and come back and bring you some things that are pertinent. And so it has begun to, in that was ingrained in me to really be able to learn and glean from what they were saying, and then be able to understand it. And so that I can now go back and teach my grandmother. I didn't realize at the time, and many years later, it brings tears to my eyes that my grandmother was sending me up there because she had only had maybe a third, fourth grade education coming out of North Carolina and the things there. And, she was born in early 1900s, man, where, we couldn't even read, man. And so, we did learn how to read and communicate within ourselves and picked up on things through hearing, that we're auditory. Many of us are auditory learners. And the things that gleaned from me being able to now go in and get back and then give back to the community. And I started seeing a need in the same story for young men. I started being able to talk to them. And so those between that, my grandmother asking me that, and then me being able to glean and share to other young people, I started saying, man, why are they coming out of school and not able to go anywhere? And so I said, well, let me get a pigeonhole in on the inside and see what is what is really taking place on the inside. And so I've been at it for 30 plus years in education, and either bringing a service to it, and then challenging them to meet the overall process for young people to grow and develop in their own skills. And so I've just continued to enlighten them of the history. I think that history has something to do with their growth and development, and being mindful of that history. Now they can be able to see, hey, where do I see myself going and becoming? And so I tell them that education is a vehicle. And so I got in there, man. I was eased into it in that regard. And so it's been very, very positive for me. And it seemed to be an easy transition. It seems kind of hard in some regards with when people don't really understand, the over inner workings. They're using it as a tool for their career. But, this is something you got to be passionate about, teaching and being able to be able to share the learn and be able to share a pertinent information that becomes and creates lifelong learners in the lives of young people.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. I'm glad you stepped up and accepted the challenge. And there's some very important factors that you talked about, man, that your grandmother did not have an education.
Right.
She used you as a conduit to get that education because she was deprived of that. And so a lot of people, they forget about those areas, that time that we came through, that if you read, you were killed. If you read one word, stop. If you could read a stop sign and they found who told you that says stop? You did.
Yep.
You did. Yep. Who told you who taught you how to read? You ain't supposed to know what that means.
Yes. Dealing with that.
They can be killed on the spot because the master or the oppressor found that you know how to read. So therefore, if you know how to read, you can understand what they're doing to you. We don't want you to know what we're doing to you.
Right. So those were things. So people lose their hands, their arms, limbs, their eyes, get their tongues cut out. We have been so traumatized in so many different ways to be educated, and that's why our young people. I don't know. I don't think they know these histories, these stories and strings of histories that have been so multifaceted and so complexly layered in ways that now they shun away from the education, because being smart or being educated, you seem to be wanting to know and be a little bit more better than someone else. And so more better is always been something that is we've had to grow and make stylish. And so that is something that I feel that if young people begin to look at our history, they've been waking up to history now. The knee in the back is not what has, a knee on the neck has not been something that is relatively new or something segregated to the past. This is something that's relegated right to the here and now. And so our young people are now seeing that. What did the God do? Make the pandemic wide open for us so we could see with our own eyes things that are happening. We in our own self wasn't really feeling that it was injustice. And so now when we saw it through the pandemic, everybody being at home, watching the news, seeing the count, stay inside, to stay in order, was now opening and a vehicle now that we would be able to see. And now people from all walks of life are really beginning to see that. And now you can do something different. So I, again, am constantly thinking in terms of the historical value, our history, how relevant it is to the education and making lifelong learners. We start getting excited about our own history and diving into many of these books and old articles, man. It is nothing new, and that's why we must begin to strategize to come up with some newness in our approach to overcoming this, pandemic.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, look, if you guys understand how powerful this movement is, you don't understand what's going on in front of you. It is powerful. God has actually, we're in a generation that everything was so fast, quick, boom, internet, everything's moving so fast. Sometimes when you see things like you watch things on TV or they give you illustrations where something's moving so fast, it leaves a street behind it. It leaves a street. We talk about the sonic boom. You think about the sonic boom. If you hear boom, the sonic boom was so fast, the speed of light, that it, boom. And then 10 minutes later, you hear the force of the boom coming afterwards. And that's what was happening in our world right now. Technology where it's got everything so fast. But God slowed everything down to where we had to start seeing what was in front of us. This pandemic forced everybody to slow down and really
Amen.
understand what is going on.
Amen.
We talk
Yes.
about the matrix sometimes. If people don't understand the matrix, but God slowed everything down so we can see the matrix. Remember when you watch that movie, The Matrix, and he started going like this?
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Down to the bullets.
Yes.
He slowed everything down.
Yeah.
That's what happened
And
now. That's what this
Yeah.
pandemic did.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
forced us
So what?
to deal with it. So look, I'm gonna give
Mhm.
you an illustration just how powerful our people have been. This is where we were at one time. This is us, kings and queens, powerful people over in Africa, multicultural. We had all this right in us. And then all of a sudden somebody came, the Moors. Let's talk about the Moors. We're not gonna get too deep on that, but they were some powerful people. The first institution was created by the Moors, right? So
Sure.
we talk about that, but here we go being depleted.
You know we'll be talking forever. We going.
Yeah, here we go being depleted from all this that we were to here you are, nothing. Nothing is inside of this. And so now this is where we were. I want you to get this illustration down. This is what started happening to us. This is what they told us we were. That little bit of water brought over to America and told us what we were. Now, understand, this bottle's not even near full. But this is what we started at.
Yeah, you just agriculture and textile.
Yeah, this is what we were. This little bit of water in here, that's all they consider us being. And told us this is all we were. That little bit of water. And that we could never reach this full potential again. You've been lied, hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Run them up.
Because we've been showing them over years that we had the potential to get back to this. So the universe has constantly been pouring back into us and just to understand just who we are. Transforming who we are. God's been pouring back into this vessel of who we are. Filling us back up. Filling us back up. But understand, this only happens how? With the transforming of your mind. Being renewed. With the transforming your mind. And that's what this educator, Thomas Murphy, is doing. So, brother, I want to ask you this, man. As we've seen how we could be transformed back to our original state of mind, we can get back to that. So, one thing I want to ask you in the interview, you said is, what is the one stereotype about Black boys that you work to dispel? And it is important for teachers to be able to identify with Black boys. Can you explain that to me?
Well, you know, like anyone, the newness of education and the way it has been presented, they don't see it as being something that is, you know, beneficial to them. And I have felt that the young men do that because they don't see it being relevant to their upbringing. It's not, you know, something that they find useful in many ways, but as they begin to look at it and encounter the Mr. Murphys of the world and the other 2% of us that are on the front line in this field, there's only 2% of the brothers that are in teaching. There's only 2% total among teachers. And so when they don't see anybody in the imagery that looks like them, they tend to, you know, have lesser dreams than that. They don't really believe that there's some things that would give them the opportunity to fully engage in what is education's usefulness to us. Even though we have made many strides in academic strides and progresses, there is always the ongoing and the ability to challenge our young people to now use this as a vehicle for the greater and the betterment of their careers. And so I try to tell them, hey, listen, I'm no different than you. I try to do my best to avoid the orange suit and the slides. I try to do my best to put rocks in my pocket, hustle and things like that in that means. But, you know, those are things that, and I can say, unfortunately, maybe there's ways that I've gotten around that, you know, now they can look at education as a way. And so as a teacher, I'm trying to challenge them to set higher academic and career goals, stay focused. It seems to be the easy route to be the regional distribution, you know, manager, but stay focused in being the president, understanding and being the best and the brightest that you can be. Understand that now your education, your ability to share what you know, understand the wisdom that you know, and glean from that understanding and knowledge, that now education could be a way now that you could be in the lab right now thinking about what it is going to be your next move for your business plan. What is your next move for that career path that you would like to do? What things that can you do to enhance and grow your overall ability to do the things that you would strive to do? And so I like to be able to challenge young men and dropping out at 56%. I mean, so, one, out of two are going to drop out, so, you getting 5 out of 6. 5 out of 10, that's, hey, listen, the school is not for me. Why? Well, because they probably haven't had anyone that's going to ask them anything about education. They're not going to have anybody that will challenge them to say, how you doing in school? You didn't get that same energy that I got, like go up to the school and learn something and come back and tell me something after school all the way and asking you how you doing. And so those are things that, I feel that become deterrents. It becomes the block or roadblocks, obstacles in many instances. And if that lack of encouragement, is what they see, and they begin to now, when they don't see us, the only time they see somebody, they're going to be calling me the police. What are you doing? You policing me. You always at me. No, I'm I would really like you to stay at it if you did with your responsibility. You have a lot of talent. But why are you going to squander it? Why would you just throw your talent? It's like, me, I'm going to go a biblical story. You're like, our young men are like the one that had the 5 talent, the 10 talent, and the 1 talent. And the one that had the 1 talent, he went and buried his talent, just put it in the ground. And then when you question him, he say, well, you a mean master. I ain't know what you was going to do. You kind of greedy anyway, so I'm going to just give you yours back. No, you could have really been unbuilt doors, talent, dug in and been like the brother that got the 5 and the 1 talent, because the 1 then turned into 2, the 2 turned into 4, 5 turned into 10, 10 turned into 20. So you can be a master over the small things so that you can be placed in the leadership roles of many other great things. So, that's what I'm finding that our young people, and so that is the way, the thing that I try to get down in them, stir it up a little bit. I might be the only father that they hear. I might be the only mentor that I hear and give them the direction. Every year I have to teach the young men and young ladies of a command that's coming from a black man directly in the classroom. So I have to say softer, I have to have patience, I have to have perseverance, I have to have I like to live by the fruit of the Spirit. I got to be kind, I got to be gentle, I got to be long-suffering, I got to be patient, I got to have some joy, I got to show some love at the door. There's a whole lot of things that you have to continue to practice and emulate each and every day, and you got to be almost like the elephant with a real short memory. You know what I mean? Because if you come with it and think about what happened yesterday, you'll have some bad days. So, and so that's me. You hear me over here getting excited about it, because that's something that you have to live. It's something that you just can't pick on, and if this ain't you, you won't like it. So they already don't pay you right. I ain't gonna go there, but you still have to know that this is something that you're driven to do. And so that's where I'm hoping that more young men, more professionals will begin to find their way into being able to do the programs and teaching as a trade and things that they need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
hey man, you touched on a lot of topics, man. A lot of great topics there, brother. The one thing I want to say to you, man, I want to applaud you, my brother. I want to applaud you. But man, one thing we know in this time that we're in and throughout history, man, it wasn't for the black women. And I gotta say this right now, because as you said, 2% of black males are going back and educating their young men. And we know there's a lot of reasons why it's happening. And one is the pay. They don't see it relevant. They don't think they've been worthy of the pay. So they don't go into that field. But if it wasn't for the black women stepping up and going back as being educators, man.
Sure.
Man,
Sure.
they have carried us a long way.
But they have, and the mothers have always done it because they've had to protect the family and the basis of the family, because from the things that you talked about as they brought us back through history, they didn't want that family to be together. And so they were always trying to do and find out how that strong family could be resolved. How could we keep it separated so the guys could never be there? Can you imagine you being home with your wife and master come in and want something? Hey, what's the deal? So these are things that that are continued to be perpetuated. And so our brothers stand on the side. We stand on the side and we get coddled a little bit by mom and Mom Dukes. But we need to begin to see how we can get in the role. Then our brothers, what do? We don't even appreciate the support that we have gotten from our sisters. How are we finding that to be something that would be gleaned to support us, that we work together on that? But we don't know. We're the only group that are still being separated by master. We're trying to find out. I heard, I've been reading it. Carl Upchurch wrote a book that I read some years ago, and bless my brother, he gone, man, but he died many years ago. But Carl wrote a book called Convicted in the Womb. And he was no different than what we're talking about right now. His mother always told him, and he had wrote, and it was a movie, it turned into a movie too. But he wrote the book, and he had a saying in there. It says that his mother told him he was a no good MF, just like his no good GD father. And if we continue to be perpetuated through that, our shrinkage of what we think we can do, the big I in us, it becomes more and more lessened, and we never begin to move and go and be able to grow and develop into the positive people that we can be. And I say that for both girls and boys. In the school setting, if no one is ever challenging you to reach your full potential, allowing you to see what it is and how important it is for you to practice, to really be able to go through that repetition and really be able to master certain things, they will continue to lose out and not really gain that full strength. And so you're speaking to it when you're talking about that. And so how can we gain a full potential when you only get 2% in brothers? So 2%, look at how many that would be at a school, a major high school where there's 1,700 students, all right? And you got, say 100 teachers, 2%. That's going to be 2 teachers.
One black male in the school.
It's going to be 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you now know that has to be a lack then, and so we need to be pressing in every situation right now with the things that we
lose the connection with your brother Murphy. I can't hear what you're saying. I can see you, but we lose the connection. You're still going
associated with Black Men United, developing our old regimes. We need to be using and revitalizing and blowing the life back into the urban leagues and the NAACP. Those older regimes, our churches, if they on board, and they got a strong deacon and trustee boards that are conscious about the things that the ministers. Listen, it's time for us to be, as my pastor said Sunday, a prophetic agent. A prophetic agent is get in where you fit in. An agent that's going to begin to do the things that you need to do that will improve your life stance and theirs. Because, listen, you got to know and recognize what is going on out here. And if you don't get in the game now, ain't nothing wrong with you being on the right team in the game. But if you are you called, are you ready on Jesus' squad? If he puts you in the game, do you know the play? Are you going to travel? Can you catch the ball? So I can go.
It's serious out here. It's serious out here.
Yes, it is.
And I
yes, it is.
This, man, as we talk about the many things, I guess we can go on and on about the traumatic experience, the trauma in the house. These are all traumatic experience for a black man, but for a child in general. I had a young man that come on here, and we talked about his life. He was a professional ball player, he played sports, and he talked about how when he was going through the system, he had one particular family that cared enough to make sure that when he came home, they got on him and made him study.
There you go.
They made so they checked his homework. They made sure his homework was done correctly.
Oh, that's a major difference.
And they gave him the encouragement as he got good grades. They encouraged him.
Well, the stats show that. Yes.
Right, remember that. But oftentimes we don't have that. I know right now as we can, and I'm gonna ask you a couple questions inside this. We talk about the pandemic, and now these young kids have to go home and study and read. And we both know that not everybody can read or can do work online. Not everybody's ready for that freedom, that independence. You know, it's just a struggle for them when they come to the classroom to teach you. But now you're giving them freedom to wake up in the morning and get online and then learn that way. They're not consistent. They're not dedicated enough. Even the top students have fallen down because they didn't for that freedom. And then their parents are involved enough to make sure that they're doing their homework, and they're using excuses. Why is my child? I have a young lady who's an educator, and we were just talking the other day, like yourself, like when you come in and tell me about this, how she had to chase kids down.
Sure.
Chase them down and make sure they get online. And then when they get online to the phone, calling the parents like, why are you doing this to my kid? And why are you defending the child? Because they were manipulated by the child because they should have went to the teacher and said, what is my child, expected of my child during this period? How can I be instrumental? But they're so busy still trying to work or do whatever they're doing in their lives, they're giving the child the freedom. And so now he's sleeping past his curfew. He's sleeping, trying to be online. He's still sleeping. And then telling her, oh, I ain't got to do that until next week. It was due last week. But the mother or the father, and because of the man might not be involved in the house, it's his mother's responsibility again to keep this guy in line, and he's abusing that. He's manipulating her, manipulating the system, but depriving himself from education. So I want to talk to you. I know I'll ask you a few questions in there, but I want you to unpack that for me, and then get to why the spirit of Agema is important. That's what we really want to get down to, with a bigger picture of how we can impact and change our communities, change the life of these young men, because we're more importantly concerned about the young men, because those are the ones that are being impacted the most. The young women, they're doing their jobs, they're going to school, and there's a lot of us falling short of that too. But our young men are being impacted the hardest because they are not applying themselves, and then we find them being killed in the streets or being sent to prison, and then now they're not being a part of the system. If you could touch on all that, man, use that.
You're to me, you're speaking of the vistas of civilization. We grow up in a way to young men to be tough and to own our own responsibilities, and young ladies are to listen and really be able to do what you're being asked to do. And when the pandemic hit and the school changed, the system of school changed in the way that we knew it to be, people were held responsible, because what has been overlooked in this is that parents, as you mentioned, are ones that get the child ready. Get your outfit on and go to the school. That is the school's now responsibility to educate you. And so now when it falls back on the parents, it shows the lack thereof of parents being able to have that ability to do it, or as a direct command to say, hey, I need you to get online. I need you to do your school. And then, that factor to me is weighed in also, because like now here, I'm talking to you. I have a designated place where I can at least talk to you from the computer here. Some kids don't even have that. They're laying across their beds. They're sitting on the couch. They're in the lazy boy chair. They can't write nothing down. So I was equally like the teacher. Hey, listen, where you opening up? And then the kids, they just put a little picture up there, their little emoji up there. So I would tell my students, turn your TV. Yeah. Well, it would be off. It wouldn't even be on. You would see me, right? You would see myself, but I could hear you, but I wouldn't be able to see you. So with that becomes a learning curve in addition to that process of where they're learning and teaching from. And so you've touched on a number of different things. And so that school's responsibility, we lost a lot of the control, the equilibrium, the balance, and being able to challenge our young people. But our young people are only going to be as good as those that check on them at school. I said that. I'm a prime example of that. My grandmother asked me to go to school to find out, and then when I came back, what you learned? We unbagging my book bag to find out. I'd be like, oh, Granny, I learned this today. I learned this today. You know, Mom, I learned this today, because they started asking that. And so, you know, those were things that now when you come home, you see how it's important, and now you can apply it. And so that's what I'm hoping that will begin to take place and foster in many of our young people. But the family needs, again, both parents. I don't care what you say. I don't care, fellas. We've been doing a great job. We're our ability to be successful in what we're doing with our kids are not going to be televised. A lot of the times there are many obstacles. Opposite ends, father living in North Carolina, mom in Ohio. Are you now being able to interject? Are you touching base with your young daughter? Are you touching base with your son? Are you interacting in that way? Because now they get it from both sides. It ain't now I got one story that I can pit. I can tell mom one thing and dad the other, because that's what they ain't talking right now. No, when they talk, it's got to be the emphasis is on you. Your education is important, because we're going to pass on, and I want you ready. I want you to be able to be self-sustaining, knowledgeable, and being able to understand and take care of yourself on a daily basis. And it comes from that repetition and working hard. It comes from that ability to know that is ingrained in us, that we make contributions. We have to work hard. We have to do the things that are important. And so I think that is, it then wraps around that in the entire village. There I am with the vistas of civilization, that now it takes Coach Jefferson down on the block that's asking me, Coach Lanier at the school that's asking me, Coach Williams that know what's going on, Mr. Harris in the neighborhood, you know, Mr. Murphy when he get home, he's asking all of us how we did, how are we doing in school, how is that being utilized and implemented. And so that's now how we can plan, implement, and evaluate our school system, what it is. We need parents. I keep saying it, emphasize, I've been recruiting 1,000 men. I don't care if it's your son or not, but we need you. And so that's what the spirit of Ujima does. We look to challenge African-American and Hispanic boys to reach their full potential. We're trying to catch them 8th, 7th, 8th, and that 9th grade level before they get to high school. Because if we don't have a good basis in 9th grade, when they come out with that 1.6, and they really ain't been able to read when they get up there, by the time they get to the 11th grade, 10th, 11th grade, they're a total distraction. I can find that out from just knowing that they can't read. I call on them. I'm very active in my classroom. I'm moving around. You got to put your head down. What? Because what? You don't know how to read. Okay, well, let me talk to you in private. All right? Now I want you to be able to start reading so that now I know where you are. You need help. You can write this stuff down. I got to take some high schoolers. I got to take to elementary. I got to take back to 8th grade, because they don't have the wherewithal to do that. And so I do that in the classroom. And then I also find that fundamentally important to what we do in the spirit of Ujima. So that is challenging our young people to be able to be sound math, reading, writing, and arithmetic. I take them back to it because the school goes so fast. If they are just trying to keep up, try to know that ain't Dominic, no, that's dynamite. All right, no, that's dynamic. That's dynamic dad right there. So being able to understand that and understand and signing out, being able to read that, know A-E-I-O-U, 2 vowels, walking, who's doing the talking, knowing that A-E-I-O-U and could sometime be Y, you have to know that. And so those are things that your mental math and math multiplication, arithmetic, those are things that you have to know to be able to function out here on the 3rd and 5th grade level. Because all this is written at the 3rd and 5th grade level. Once you want to move higher, that's what we try to do to challenge our young people. So there you have, the spirit of Ujima. So we're talking to the parents. We're giving our young men the ways to really be able to challenge. I've been so excited and I get excited about it every time I talk about it. Michael Wynn's process, and he talks about the eagles who thought they were chicken. Young man, understand who you are. You ain't no chicken. they might have threw you in with the chickens, but you're a great eagle. You can fly. You do things out in the air, in the sky. And so that's our process in the history of where we are. We're still walking around thinking we're chickens when we got wings, and they calling us ugly, and we look like, because we don't look like them chickens. No, because you're an eagle, black man. So let's continue to rise and recognize your own look, your stature, the things that you've had to go through, and growing that. And so the Spirit of Ujima, we started in 1992 in Mansfield, Ohio. I came home from playing ball and my college career. My dad had passed, and all of the things that our community, what I knew it to be, was not in place, man. My park, we had to adopt a park because, man, the park had bottles and grass up to 3 feet. We had the trees down to 6 feet. You couldn't even walk through the park, see the park. Another, you wouldn't know it was a picnic table because all the grass and trash was piled up on it. So, I mean, these are things that we had to do as creating. And so we, as I give mad credit, my brother Perry Pondexter, he gone. Bruce Bond is still active in the ministry and things like that. My brother, I have an older brother that's doing some great things in Louisville. And all my nieces and nephews everywhere are very excited about the educational process. And it was something that we were able to pass on. And so I'm excited through that. And you got people that we can give you mad history of things that they've been able to do and touch and being able to do throughout their careers, and it helps them to grow and develop. And so the Spirit of Ujima is a God-given entity, man, that continues to help young people grow and reach their full potential, brother.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's very important that we get our people to recognize, our young people, especially our young men, especially, to recognize who they are. That they're kings and queens. I know. That they're princes and prince, and that they come from royal bloodline. And so
sure,
we have to get them to understand and take pride in that. And it's, for the most part, a lot of them are waking up to that they are great. History has shown them a lot that we are great people. We are resilient people, because nobody in this world could be able to go through what we went through.
No, and still be able to show the love, and still be able to show the love and the extent of love. Man, come on, man. If we started the Ku Klux Klan, I think I heard Cornel West say that, and I was so glad, because I used to say that all the time, man. We ain't scratching where we don't itch at. But I'm telling you seriously that if we were not the people that we are, man, we could be the black version of the Ku Klux Klan, rounding them up, throwing them in the, as Ice Cube and them had them video, rounding them up and throwing them in the back of the wagon. And so, but there is things that we have continued to do in showing love. And sometimes we think that there's a people that don't want to give that love and that process, man. And so you're definitely hitting the nail right on the head. And so we have always come from a uniqueness, man. Like I told you before, they brought us over here for textile and agriculture. We then developed the cotton gin. We then developed the light and the mailbox and the phone and the technology. I can bring you up to today. Yes. So yeah, man, I ain't gonna, I take you on a whole nother science and things that were major contributions that we continue to make. I mean, educators, we've always been on both sides of the debate. David Walker and some other brothers, W.E.B. Du Bois, you got, I mean, there's so many. I'm just touching the ones that's more popular that people have heard. But there is a plethora of young brothers and untold stories of so many that, you probably got in your line that we didn't lost, and so those are things that I think we continue to be mindful of, that we must begin to be appreciative of, and that we continue to extend the love, the life, and the lordship, through our ability to see where there are the changes that can take place in our community and across this world.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we're going to talk about that a little bit right now, man. We talk about the community and the world, because I talk to everybody, when I talk to people, I tell them all the time, Dynamic Dad is international. We mobilize and organize. We organize and mobilize. So when I talk about that, we're talking to people and mobilizing them, organizing them to get to a point where now everywhere I go, everywhere I talk to, we leave a building there, a resource center there.
Sure.
So when we talk about that, man, we look at, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, man, line this up right now. What is your toughest challenge to get the young black men or, your students or person of color to understand about education? And the plight of the young black man globally, the impact that we have or we should have, and then also talk about that international connection of you're transcending to make, and how we can, as we partner up with Dynamic Dad and Memphis Mom, how we can partner up with you to talk about international those connections. How are we dealing with right now? How are we dealing right now as a person of color in our communities, and how this world's impact us here in America? But how can we more be impactful international?
Well, the one of the toughest challenges is to get them to become activated and really become more motivated in accepting the challenges that they want more than just mediocrity. We continue to stay on a plane that I've gotten enough, and it is more than enough for me because it's a handout. And so now, because of that, we don't really meet in and dive into the challenge of accepting that they could have more, and we get complacent with poverty in some regards. We get comfortable.
Let me say right there when you say have more. This generation right now, I think they got more.
Well, okay. Well, if you have more, it develops your independence to do more, and doing more and having more is your ability to help somebody else. Are you in a position where you could help someone else? Are you in a position that you want to extend the ability to help someone else? I say poverty be stricken in that way that it happens, because now I'm only worrying about me, myself, and mine. I can't help, I can't extend myself in being able to even help you in a way that it would be meaningful and satisfaction for me to say that now I've shared. All right. Can you pay somebody's, can you help somebody? Can you let somebody let you in front of the line of you, then can you now pay for their smoothie because they let you in front of them? Or you have the ability and a flexibility to whether it is, if you're worrying about your dollar, you can't consider even helping and extending the hand to someone else. And so that's why I think that is the tough the process that I want them to be past, okay, and so it gives you that ability to move on. And so, you're talking about that plighted globally, poverty is one of the greatest levels. I mean, when we go, and I could go on a mission trip and they see me coming as an American, I'm automatically rich. I could be at food stamp level, but I'm richer than they could ever imagine, because their poverty is like, your section right there, that's their house right there. You can say that their apartment. I went on a missions trip and we stepped in and walked in, and the folk is living in a 4x4 spot. That's their home. They got the living room, and we talking about I ain't got a studio. All right. So these are things on the global side that I think poverty kind of, you must begin to recognize that, and a lot more people are not reaching that potential because, the stakes are so high. It's a gap between the have and the have-nots. And so how do we eliminate that? I think that's one of the things, and that's a part of sharing that to our young people so that they can see that. And that's one of the things I do as an educator. I find that is critical. And then you look at that internationally, if that is the case, how now do you help that? How do you begin to look at it internationally and you become more active in there? There's still space. I was fortunate, my church and my bishop, I'm gonna give him a shout out, Paul Richard Alexander has been innovative in the things that he's been doing. And I kind of keep a real close eye on some things and work close in that. But we brought a R400 to our church, and it is a hub, and it got kind of stifled because of the pandemic and some things that happened over in Ghana, and we weren't able to get it. But I know it's going to be an ongoing process where the hub for the 55 nations are going to be working in Charlotte, coming there yearly, being able to set up business and business incubation so that now Americans can do business, African Americans can do business with international Africans, so that the diaspora can be able to grow and connect and do the business and grow. Because we have always been doing business on everybody else's terms. where are we getting our own tie-in? That's why you see the cryptocurrency. That's why you see the blockchain, because there's going to be something new because it consistently holds new people out. And so that's what's going to create us the avenue of being able to do some things right here, right there in Charlotte, but internationally here in Ohio, over there in Arizona where you are. I mean, it's going to be some things that once we know about it, because we don't share that information. And so the greatest challenge is that underground information that is being able, that should be shared. How do we now begin to create, because it's smaller? Me and you are now across the continent of U.S. You're on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, but yet now with this forum here, we can now communicate instantly, email and see each other in the Zoom set. And so now what do we do to grow that? So it's no different in international, but it's wide open in international. They still are trying to figure out how to do the proper agricultural things over there. There's $17 million in agricultural process of something that I've been following that's going on in Kenya. There's some other things, and you already know all of the other richer continents that are there. Like I said, there's 55 nations. You pick 5 of them to do business in, all right? You can select one of those and do business, and it could be your textile business that they don't have. It could be housing, all right? It could be solar. It could be something that you begin to think of that would now have, what is it? So those are things I would like to press upon on an international level there are openings that we should be able to take full advantage of. And as you begin to set your own financial literacy, that we begin to develop our own financial literacy and knowing that our buying power and the things that we could do together and genuinely, you now can grow that business and you can build that to a broader context of impact. And so, those are just a couple of things that I could tell you that I'm immediately involved in, that I'm working towards and doing some even greater work, as God allows me to be here, in my time.
Some great things that you're talking about, man. Magnificent Moms and Dynamic Dads, any way we could be a part of that, man, we want to definitely be a part of that. We had a team meeting last night with some great dynamic minds. And so within that group, there's a lot of things that we can help you do, and hopefully we can.
I welcome that.
And so
yes,
I want to introduce my co-host down there before we go. It's Josephine Jackson with Magnificent Moms. I don't know if she might have one question she want to ask you or feel to before we let you get up out of here. I want to be respectful of your time.
Oh, no problem. I know she's coming in. Hello, Sister Jackson.
How you doing? I'm
fine,
sorry. I'm coming in late. I had to take care of some business, but you just got me so excited just coming in on the tail end of what you're doing. So wow is all I can say. I'm just saying, let's go. I mean, I'm an educator. I love teaching. I love sharing information, and it has always been a dream of mine to reconnect. So God has allowed us this platform in a unique way. So I see no reason as to why we can't take advantage of where people see something negative. We gonna make a good thing out of it. God is opening the doors.
Oh yeah, everybody wants some chitlins now. They used to just be the slop out there in the back.
Right. Right. So my ears perked when you said about an incubator and a hub. We have several here in Chicago, but it perked even more when you said about international trade and commerce and currency and all that. So I've been doing a little research about that. So I'm on board. So any way that Dennis and I can assist you, just send a shout to Dennis.
All right, I most certainly will. I'm equally engaged there to really be able to share what I do and the things I know. Earlier we were talking about it, and I know I don't always shoot my own horn, but I've been involved in a number of different things, and that comes with the incubation and the business development and things like that. And that's where my schooling is, and so I'm always excited about helping collaborative initiatives, Sister Jackson, and so it will continue to be something that I welcome also. And so equally, it's reciprocity and reciprocal, that the information that we can share both ways. And things that are going on, I welcome that, and I know Chicago is always faced with some dynamics, and even them in itself, and I think that is a great avenue to really begin to perk and get our young men's attention, because it's that poverty that keeps them wanting to take something. It's that poverty that keeps them in a way that now they can't move and be able to grow in the way they would like to, and so. I see that as one of the things that's really and truly systemic to our ongoing development. And if we continue to, do some things about it and really be able to catch it at the right time and the timing that we'll be able to share it in a way. And I think, that is what you're talking about. And so I'm excited about it. I thank you. I welcome it. And, let's, as you say, let's get going. I'm fired up and ready to go. So.
Yeah, Chicago is a major hub. Actually, it's an epicenter right now.
Oh, it is. Always has been.
As you've noticed now, recently, the crime and everything, according to the media, is increased. But I'm not believing that per se. I have my own theory about what's going on per se out here in the streets. But these young men and young ladies, they need help. They can do it, and it's just they just need programs.
Yeah, just some Bible programs, some services that would give them an opportunity to do it, and that's what we're talking about. The Spirit of Ujima is vying for those. Earlier I was telling about I'm a part of a group where there's Black Men United, and what we were talking about is now get active and begin to get in. It's kind of like what we talked about, and I hate to say it. It's not reinventing the wheel, but it's reinventing the call to get young men like the Million Man March to go and become active in your communities. Let's start your business. Get active. Get the NAACP fully situated and supported, where every organization, every committee, I should say, from the redress all the way down to the finance committee, is fully funded. Membership and everything. Now we can begin to grow. You got the committees working towards that in those major cities. I don't know where they are. I call them, and we have some problems even in Charlotte. I've been calling them. You can't find them sometime with a search warrant. But hey, listen, there's got to be somebody that's going to be able to get the mantle once we get to that seat and say, hey, Lord, this is how we can do it. And if we can begin to do that, we can create, to your point, those programs that are for those young ladies, to teach those young men and young ladies, that fathers are out here, and young men can be able to see how we treat young ladies and how the mothers can then be supportive. And it would begin to create that village that it takes to raise those children all across America.
Yeah, I say it all the time, man. If they don't have it, we create it.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even have to recreate it. We got it. We just don't utilize it because the point person or whatever, I don't know, is holding it in the trick bag. I don't know who we working for. I like to say that, who you blocking for, what team you on. I mean, quit point shaming. I like to say, because let's stop.
Yeah, that's why Dynamic Dad and Magnificent Moms and a lot of other people that we've teamed up with. It's not about, like these young people say right now, we're not waiting for you no more to hand it out to us.
Right. Well, they're tired of waiting. That's why the redress is and the tragedy is happening in the streets. You see that people are looting and people are rioting, and then there's people that are honestly protesting. But people are rioting because they're upset of this status and quo that needs to change, and people are looting because they don't have nothing. I don't care what you say. You can say, "Oh, they just down there just to steal." Ain't nobody going down there to steal. We don't do that. We going down there because I need something to eat. We going down there because I need some shoes. Now, there might be one or two you can find and say, we're going to prove Murph wrong. But the vast majority are down there because they need help, they need support, and they will want the society to see that there are some avenues for them to grow and develop.
Yeah, and that's when we talk about traumatic experience. It's always the why. We got to deal with the why. And so I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. I know you're on vacation, so say in Ohio.
Yeah, no. My daughter's is here with me, and her friend. We they're I'm a dad to Dynamic dad. I keep doing the things I have to do in raising her. She's going into her junior year, and so I did get a chance to come up from Charlotte through the pandemic. I'm just praying that God continues to keep me safe and continues to keep me healthy, that I can go on and spend the time that I need her, and then get back and be part of my business and things that we're doing. But I'm here and I have to move because she needs me. I mean, you got to see my face. She get to frowning up on the phone. You can only Zoom so many times.
Yeah. So, man, give me one profound word that you would say to our community or to our young men to get them to really be engaged and understand this era that we're in right now. How it's important that they really take grasp of this era.
I think about that all the time, and I think that we have to begin to stop scratching where we don't itch at, and moving because of somebody else just removes us, and you got to move over here because we can't find nothing for you. Let's begin to move and mobilize ourselves and be challenged to do the very best that I would like to do. Write your own reality. Don't let society continue to define your own reality. You know that. So that was one of the things that I would really like to see, how we can begin to implement that, so that then fathers will step up, so that the neighbor will step up, that we could get involved. The young men will check each other. We didn't kill each other enough. We didn't done the few things that let's stop the feud. So stop scratching where we on itch at, and you using any old excuse to tear something down or to bring. Let it be your real reality. If you need something, then let's speak to that. Because you might be closer, to what you need than you would tend to recognize. And so that's one of the things that I like to leave us, that we have to be fully engaged and stop scratching where we on itch at. Let's continue to be prophetic agents of the truth and set where we are and make a difference where you are.
Brother Murphy, you have unpacked a lot of things today, man. But as an educator, you have taught us a lot of things. So I thank you in this time period that you have come on here, man. And I
really thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate to get a chance to share and what you're doing, man. I've always, we've always talked about it, and so I'm admiring you that you've been persistent too, and you persevered to do a lot of great things and get it together, Dennis. Man, I'm proud of you. I love you, brother. We started back when we was over at the church on Beatty's Ford, and so with young men and being able to strive and doing things, and so I see that you got other good sisters and other brothers with you. Y'all still think tanking and connecting, man, and that's what we have to do. It's still Underground Railroad, and so I'm proud of us, man, that we continue to do. I believe in you, as a brother told us today. I believe that you is doing it. I believe you're gonna do it. I believe you're gonna continue to do it, and let's continue to make it happen. But don't scratch where we on itch at.
Appreciate that, brother, man. Yeah, you have spend some quality time with your family, man.
Yes, sir.
Come on, man. Have a good day.
Oh, man. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Sister JoJo, you down there? How you doing, Sister JoJo?
Oh, I've had a bad day.
No, there's no bad days in the dynamic world. There's no bad days.
Okay, all right. I've had some issues.
Out of chaos comes opportunity.
I had a rough day.
Out of chaos comes opportunity. So you have opportunities.
I just got the phone. We still live.
We still live. Yeah, we still live on Facebook. We need to go private. It's something we need to talk about behind the closed doors. All right, so let's close this out then. We got, y'all can hear this right now. We got to kick y'all out the house. We got some things that Mama said can't get outside this house.
Look, we gotta keep this in the
Those on this house stays now. You ain't telling people about our business, so y'all gotta go, Facebook. We gotta kick y'all out. But listen, I do thank y'all for coming out. Listen to my man Thomas Murphy for supporting Magnificent Moms, Dynamic Dads. Please go to my website. I can't say it enough. And register, subscribe, donate. Give me some comments, some feedback. DynamicDad.org. www.dynamicdad.org. Look me up on Facebook, IG, or YouTube. Check out my podcast, Spotify, Anchor. hey, check me out, support me.
Hey, girlfriend.
I appreciate you guys for everything that you're doing. But right now, we're going to talk about some more important things behind closed doors. So once again, thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me. Dynamic Dads, positive and attitude, full energy.
I spend that tomorrow.
So y'all
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Let's talk to you later.